I'm Mat Sorensen. Welcome to my channel where I'm focused on helping you save taxes, protect your assets, and grow and build wealth with retirement accounts. Now, my experience comes from spending the 10,000 hours as a lawyer advising clients across the country. And today, I serve as founder and CEO of Directed IRA, where we have over $3 billion in assets, tens of thousands of clients, multiple Inc. 5000 awards, and over 1,000 5-star Google reviews. I wrote the #1 book on self-directed IRAs, the Self-Directed IRA Handbook. This book is used by government regulators, the National Association in the industry, and sold over 50,000 copies. I've also been published or quoted by the Wall Street Journal, Forbes, Yahoo Finance, and even the Attorney Law Magazine has called me the master of IRA investments. Now, on my channel, you'll find videos about saving taxes, protecting your assets, but my passion and purpose is to help you take control of your retirement with a self-directed IRA. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is a self-directed IRA? So, a self-directed IRA is an IRA that can invest in any asset allowed by law. Most people think of IRAs and 401ks, retirement accounts in general, and they think of stocks, bonds, ETFs, mutual funds. They think of publicly traded assets, but that's not all your IRA can invest into. A self-directed IRA is an IRA with a company like ours, Directed IRA, where we let your IRA invest into private assets, not on the stock market. This could be the rental property down the street. This could be a small business in your community. This could be a private fund, crypto, precious metals. These are all assets that your IRA can own, but you're going to need a self-directed IRA to do it. You're not going to get this in a broker-dealer IRA or a life insurance annuity company IRA or at a bank's IRA. They're going to sell you products that they want you to invest into. A self-directed IRA is an open architecture IRA where you can invest in the assets you know and believe in. Now, you can't invest in those assets with a brokerage IRA. So if you have an IRA at, say, a Fidelity or a TD Ameritrade, and you're like, well, Matt, I want to invest in the rental property on 123 Green Street. I want to do a private loan from my IRA to another investor or to a business owner, and I'm going to secure it against the real estate or the collateral in their business. Well, you're not going to do that with a brokerage IRA. You're going to need a self-directed IRA. So step one here is to open a self-directed IRA. Now, this IRA account could be a Roth IRA, a traditional IRA. This can be a health savings account, a covered L. These are all tax-advantaged accounts that can invest into private assets. But let's say you had a Roth IRA at TD Ameritrade with $300,000 in it, and you wanted to invest $100,000 into a private fund. Well, you could transfer $100,000 from the brokerage Roth IRA over to your self-directed Roth IRA, and now that $100,000 can be invested into that private asset. It's still a Roth IRA. There's no tax. There's no penalty. It's just you've changed the custodian of that account for that portion of money. Now, you could move the whole thing. I'm just giving an example here of moving a partial amount. So now that money's in your self-directed IRA, you've completed step 2 in the process. Now, this third step is investing the IRA into the private asset. Let's say, again, in this example, it's a private fund, the XYZ Real Estate Fund or ABC Private Equity Fund or LMNOP Venture Capital Fund. It doesn't matter. It's investing into this private fund. Now, to make that investment, you're going to do a few things. First, you're going to complete a direction of investment form with the self-directed IRA company saying, hey, I want to invest this money into that private fund. The second thing is you're going to need to provide the documents for that fund. This will include the subscription agreement and the supporting private fund documents. In the subscription agreement, this is critical. You are going to indicate that the investor for the shares or units is your IRA. It's not you, it's your IRA that's investing that will own these shares. So this would go in the name of your IRA. For example, if you have an account with Directed IRA, it would say Directed Trust Company FBO, your name IRA. That will be the purchaser or buyer of those shares. Now that money goes out and gets invested. Now, as there's returns coming in from that investment, those go into your IRA. When you later sell those shares or those units, that gain goes back into your IRA. This is not going on your 1040. This is not something going on your personal tax return. This is all happening and growing in your retirement account for the long haul. So those 3 steps: open the account, fund it, whether it's a transfer, rollover, or it could be a new contribution, and then making the investment selection. Now, another popular asset you could be doing to invest in is real estate. For example, you could be buying a buy and hold rental. This could be short-term real estate. This could be private lending on real estate. Very common. In this example, the IRA owns the real estate, receives the income, covers the expenses, and gets the appreciation. And later, when the property is sold for a gain, it goes back into the retirement account, no tax. Now, when you're self-directing your IRA, there are some rules and things to know. The first thing is what's called the prohibited transaction rule. This is a rule that doesn't restrict what your IRA can invest into. Your IRA can invest in any asset allowed by law. The only restrictions are life insurance, collectibles, and S corporation stock. Everything else is fair game. So what this rule is focused on is who is your IRA transacting with. For example, if my IRA is investing in real estate, who's selling the real estate? If my IRA owns the real estate, who's it leasing it to? If my IRA invests into a private fund or to a company, who owns 50% or more or controls that company. If any of those parties on the other end of the transaction are someone called a disqualified person, you will have what is called a prohibited transaction, which means your IRA becomes disqualified and distributed, and you can be subject to penalties and taxes. So we want to avoid a prohibited transaction. So who is a disqualified person? Well, the Internal Revenue Code answers this for us and says you are a disqualified person. So for example, you can't sell real estate to your own IRA. You can't sell private company shares or stock that you personally own over to your IRA. Also, your parents are prohibited, your kids are prohibited, and your spouse is prohibited. Now, some family members actually are not disqualified persons. For example, your siblings, your aunts and uncles, your cousins are okay. Your IRA can transact with them. So if your sister owns some real estate that maybe you want to buy from her and have as a rental in your IRA could buy the property from your sister. That would not constitute a prohibited transaction because she is not a disqualified person under the rules. Now, most people are going to be transacting with third parties. They're not going to get into these family issues, but it is something you need to know about. You cannot transact your IRA with yourself or with any of those disqualified family members. Now, self-directed IRAs aren't for everyone. I'm not here saying you should self-direct your IRA. I don't know. I'm just out here saying, did you know your IRA could do this? Most people don't even know that they had a choice of what to invest in. They thought publicly traded assets was it, but I'm here to tell you that is not all. If you believe in alternative assets, if you believe in real estate and private companies and startup and small business and precious metals and crypto and oil and gas, I don't care what the asset class is. If you believe in it and want to invest your IRA into it, you can take control and invest in the assets you know and believe in, but it takes a self-directed IRA, and that's what our team is here and dedicated to do. So please book a call with our team at Directed IRA. We can answer your questions, go over the steps, process, direct you to education, the resources that we have where you can educate yourself to learn the options and choices available to you. Now, don't forget, we've got webinars, the Directed IRA podcast, my book, live events, and an incredible team to help you along the way. Our goal is that you have a retirement you're looking forward to, not one that you're dreading, and that you have a retirement that comes sooner, not later.